I know you just learned this information, but it's been a very violent week in Jacksonville. Something I know that you have been pushing public safety. We've had, at least at this time, 22 people shot, 7 people dead, including like a 6-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 17-year-old. And I know what your thoughts of just hearing this. What do you think? What can be done?
Well, I have been reading that with just such complete and utter sadness. I mean, it is if everyone in this country and in this community can't see that this is an issue that we really absolutely must deal with, we cannot simply do the same thing over again and expect a different result. We've got to work heavily on prevention, on education. That's one of the things that I know both the sheriff and I are working on in terms of educating people about storing their guns and making sure their guns aren't readily available for people to grab. I mean, a lot of these things happen. I'm not going to pretend to know the ins and outs of all the details of these shootings, but I'll tell you that a lot of these things happen because of easy access, to firearms that some people should not have access to. So that's an issue. Obviously, last Friday, I was at the White House for the unveiling of the gun violence prevention office. I think that's going to be very helpful because it's going to connect prevention efforts around the country and get best practices, what's working in different communities. And I think you always come up with the best ideas when you collaborate. So I am not going to say this is going to be an easy problem to solve, but I think we have to look from the root causes of why these things are happening and work our way up. And that comes down to a lot of education and prevention. The gun laws, as you know, are a tough thing to move. So we've got to do what we can do at the moment. And that is to make sure that we're creating every bit of preventative measure that we can to make sure these things just stop happening. I mean, that we cannot continue to go down this path and have a successful community. We just cannot. This gun violence has got to stop.
And I got to tell you, I was out at several of the crime scenes yesterday, even shootout on MLK and a young person killed there. But all of the people that I talked to that were at these scenes, they all said they blame truancy. They blame that we got to get kids back. That's what's happening. I don't know if you're hearing that, if that's anything that I know trying to get something done, but that's what they're saying. The problem is with the young people in the community.
But listen, Jim, I think it's all of it. Why do you have a truancy problem? And you go backwards from that. I mean, we have to do a better job of making sure that we can provide things for our children to do. That's why we talk so much about parks. That's why we talk so much about youth programs. That's why we talk so much about literacy. That's one of the things we're investing in with this new budget is literacy. And that's why I said you've got to go back and start impacting the lives of these young people before they start to get involved in nefarious activities or things that are going to drag them down. But that's why I say the prevention side to me is huge. I know there's a great deal of disagreement over the gun legislation side, but we should all be able to agree that we need to do a better job of making sure that our kids are more successful when it comes to things like being literate and other things that would keep them on a more successful path in life.